A customs officer opens a wooden crate at Miami International Airport and freezes. Inside are dozens of reptiles, snakes, lizards, species protected by international law, species that shouldn't exist outside their natural habitats, species worth millions of dollars on the black market. But that's not the shocking part. The shocking part is what happens next. One of the containers starts moving. It's moving on its own. Something inside is alive. Something inside is trying to escape. Officers back away. The supervisor calls for emergency specialists. This is the moment that changed everything. Before we continue with this incredible story, I need your support. Please hit that like button right now and subscribe to this channel. We're bringing you real customs mysteries every single day. Tell me in the comments where you're watching from. Now let's continue. Miami International Airport. Tuesday afternoon. 3. The port is busy as always. Cargo containers from around the world. Shipments arriving from Africa, from Asia, from South America. Each container a mystery. Each container potentially holding anything. Officer Marcus Thompson has been working customs cargo inspection for 12 years. He's seen thousands of containers. He's inspected goods from every continent. He knows what legitimate cargo looks like, and he knows what suspicious cargo looks like. Marcus is walking through the cargo terminal this afternoon when he notices something. A shipment from Nigeria. Several large wooden crates. The paperwork says they contain wood carvings and decorative items. But Marcus has processed shipments from Nigeria before. And these crates don't look right. They're too heavy, they're too carefully constructed. The ventilation holes cut into the sides are too deliberate. Marcus calls over his supervisor, Officer Sarah Williams. Sarah has been with Customs for 18 years. She's specialized in wildlife trafficking for the past 5 years. Marcus, look at these crates. Something's not right. Sarah, you think they're hiding something? Marcus, I think they're hiding someone or something. Sarah examines the crates carefully. She looks at the construction. She looks at the ventilation holes. She looks at the paperwork. Sarah, we need to open these. The crate is carefully pried open. It takes several minutes. The construction is solid. Professional, someone spent time and money building these crates correctly. And when the lid comes off, both officers understand why. The crate is filled with terrariums, glass containers. Inside each container is a reptile, snakes, lizards, pythons, ball pythons, emerald tree boas, red-tailed boas, species after species. All of them endangered. All of them protected by the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species Site A. All of them illegal to import into the United States. Marcus, oh my God, how many are there? Sarah, I count at least 30, maybe 40, just in this crate. They open the second crate. More reptiles, more terrariums, more endangered species, ball pythons, reticulated pythons, green anacondas, gaboon vipers, black mambas, highly venomous, highly dangerous, highly illegal. They open the third crate, and that's when something unexpected happens. One of the terrariums shifts. It moves. The glass container slides slightly, and then it moves again. Something inside is alive and moving. Something is active. Sarah carefully reaches toward the terrarium. She peers inside, and what she sees makes her blood run cold. Inside the container is a reticulated python, at least 15 feet long. It's one of the largest and most dangerous snakes in the world. And it's awake. It's alert. It's looking directly at her. Sarah, don't move. Marcus, what is it? Sarah, it's a reticulated python, and it's not sedated. It's awake. Marcus immediately backs away. Sarah slowly steps backward as well. They don't take their eyes off the terrarium. Sarah, call USDA, call Fish and Wildlife, call emergency services. We need specialists here. Now. Within minutes, emergency responders arrive. U.S. Fish and Wildlife agents arrive. U.S. Fish and Wildlife agents arrive. USDA specialists arrive. The cargo area is cordoned off. Warning signs are posted. This is now a potential biohazard situation. Special agents from Fish and Wildlife, officers trained specifically in wildlife trafficking, begin a careful examination of all the crates. They document each animal. They photograph each species. They record temperatures and conditions. What they discover is shocking. There are 97 reptiles in total, 97 endangered species, species protected by international law, species that, in some cases, are critically endangered in the wild. The total estimated value of these animals on the black market, approximately $1 million. But the value isn't just monetary. The value is ecological. These animals belong in the wild. These animals are part of ecosystems that are already struggling. Taking these animals out of their natural habitats is not just illegal, it's devastating to global biodiversity. Federal agents begin investigating the shipment. They trace the paperwork. They trace the sender in Nigeria. They trace the intended recipient in Miami. What they discover is a sophisticated wildlife trafficking organization, an operation that's been smuggling endangered species into the United States for years. An operation that's connected to organized crime, an operation that's worth millions of dollars annually. The intended recipient is a man named Derek Richardson. Derek is a wildlife dealer. He sells exotic animals to private collectors, to zoos, to anyone willing to pay. He operates out of a warehouse in Miami. He's been operating this way for 15 years. Federal agents obtain a warrant. They raid Derek's warehouse. What they find shocks them. Hundreds of animals, hundreds of endangered species, snakes, lizards, turtles, birds, mammals, all of them protected by law, all of them illegally imported or bred in captivity for sale on the black market. The facility is unsanitary. The animals are in poor condition. Many of them are sick. Many of them are dying. Many of them will never survive in the wild, even if they're rescued. Derek Richardson is arrested. He's charged with violating the Endangered Species Act. He's charged with smuggling. He's charged with conspiracy. He faces up to 20 years in federal prison. But the investigation doesn't stop with Derek. Federal agents trace his suppliers. They discover that Derek's animals are coming from multiple countries: Nigeria, Indonesia, Brazil, Madagascar, all places where endangered species are being illegally captured and sold. The investigation becomes international. Fish and Wildlife works with authorities in Nigeria. They work with authorities in Indonesia. They work with authorities in Brazil. They coordinate enforcement operations across multiple countries. Arrests are made in Africa. Arrests are made in Asia. Arrests are made in South America. An international smuggling ring is being dismantled. The 97 reptiles that arrived in Miami are carefully examined by veterinarians. Many of them are in poor health. Many of them are stressed. Many of them are injured. A decision is made. The animals will be rehabilitated. They'll be treated. They'll be healed. And then they'll be released back into the wild. Or they'll be placed in accredited zoos where they can live out their lives safely. The reticulated python, the one that was awake and alert in the terrarium, becomes the symbol of this case. The symbol of wildlife trafficking. The symbol of what's at stake. The python is carefully transported to a specialized facility. It's examined by herpetologists. It's determined to be healthy, despite the difficult journey. It's rehabilitated, and eventually, it's transported back to Indonesia, back to its native habitat, back to the wild. Officer Sarah Williams is recognized for her work on this case. She receives an award from Fish and Wildlife. She's featured in news stories about wildlife trafficking. She becomes an advocate for endangered species protection. She travels to Nigeria as part of an educational initiative. She works with local authorities to teach them about wildlife trafficking. She teaches them about how their local species are being exploited. She teaches them about how they can help protect their own biodiversity. Derek Richardson is sitting in federal prison. He's serving a 15-year sentence. He's had time to reflect on his crimes. He's had time to understand the damage he was causing. He writes a statement that's read in court, a statement expressing remorse. "I thought I was just selling animals," Derek writes. "I thought I was providing rare pets to people who wanted them. I didn't understand the bigger picture. I didn't understand that I was destroying ecosystems. I didn't understand that I was participating in the extinction of species. I didn't understand that I was part of a system that treats living beings as commodities. I was wrong," he continues. "I caused real damage. Damage that will take generations to repair. If I could go back, I would make different choices. But I can't. All I can do now is accept the consequences of my actions." The statement doesn't change his sentence, but it does change how people understand wildlife trafficking. It changes the conversation. It makes people realize that wildlife trafficking is a serious crime. It's not just about animals. It's about the future of our planet. Officer Sarah Williams continues working at Fish and Wildlife. She continues investigating smuggling cases. She continues protecting endangered species. She continues thinking about that reticulated python, about the moment it moved, about the moment she realized the severity of what was happening. She thinks about how that one moment, that one inspection stopped an international smuggling ring, how that one decision to open a crate preserved the lives of 97 endangered animals, how that one action protected ecosystems around the world. Years later, Sarah receives a letter. It's from a researcher in Indonesia. The researcher has been tracking the reticulated python that was smuggled through Miami International Airport, the same python that was rehabilitated, the same python that was released back into the wild. The letter reads, "We've been monitoring this python for 2 years. It's healthy, it's thriving, it's found a mate. She's pregnant. This python, which was almost lost to the black market, is now contributing to the survival of her species. Your work saved this life. Your work saved this species. Thank you." Sarah cries when she reads the letter. She thinks about the long chain of events. The inspection at the airport, the discovery of the smuggling ring, the rehabilitation of the animals, the repatriation back to the wild, and now, new life being created. She frames the letter. She hangs it in her office. It reminds her why she does what she does. It reminds her that one moment, one decision, one act of diligence can save lives, can save species, can preserve the biodiversity of our planet. Officer Sarah Williams and Officer Marcus Thompson continue their work at Miami International Airport. They continue inspecting shipments. They continue trusting their instincts. They continue protecting wildlife. The 97 reptiles that arrived in that shipment became a turning point. They became the catalyst for a larger conversation about wildlife trafficking. They became the symbol of what's at stake when we allow endangered species to be exploited. And somewhere in the rainforests of Indonesia, a reticulated python is living her life. She's free. She's healthy. She's contributing to her species. She's alive because of the work of dedicated officers who chose to look deeper into a suspicious shipment. That's the story of Miami International Airport. That's the story of what happened at 3:45 p.m. on a Tuesday afternoon. That's the story of Officer Sarah Williams and Officer Marcus Thompson and the moment when a container moved on its own. When everything changed. When wildlife trafficking became personal. When one decision protected not just 97 animals but entire ecosystems. When one moment rippled across the globe and saved species from extinction.